My dear child, I want you to stop whatever you are doing right now and just listen. Not because something terrible is about to happen, but because something incredibly important is being whispered to your heart in this very moment. And I am afraid that if you keep moving at the speed you are moving, you are going to miss it completely. I am not speaking to you from a distance. I am not shouting at you from somewhere far away in the sky. I am right here, closer than your own breath, closer than the beating of your heart. And I have something to say to you today that could change the entire direction of your life. You have been running through your mornings, running through your evenings, running through your weeks and months and years. And somewhere in all of that running, something happened. The fire inside you started to grow smaller. The warmth you once felt when you thought about me started to fade. The joy that used to overflow from your heart started to dry up, little by little, day by day, until now, you find yourself going through the motions of life without really feeling anything at all. You wake up, you go through your day, you come home, you sleep, and then you do it all over again. And deep inside, in that quiet place where no one else can see, you know something is missing. You know that this is not the life you were made for. I see you, my child. I see all of you. I see the version of you that shows up for the world, smiling and functioning and holding everything together. And I also see the version of you that sits alone at night wondering if any of this means anything, wondering if I am still there, wondering if I still care. And I want you to hear me clearly when I say this. I have never stopped watching over you. I have never looked away. I have never grown tired of you or disappointed in you to the point of walking away. Every single tear you have cried in the dark, I saw it. Every prayer you whispered under your breath when you did not even have the energy to kneel, I heard it. Every moment you tried and failed and tried again, I was right there with you. But because I love you, I cannot just tell you what feels good and walk away. Because I love you, I have to tell you the truth. And the truth is this: you are running dry. Not in your body, not in your mind, in your spirit. That place deep inside you where my life is supposed to flow is becoming more and more dry. And if you do not do something about it today, tomorrow it will be even drier than it is right now. Think about what happens to a lamp when it runs out of oil. It does not explode, it does not break. It simply grows dimmer and dimmer until one day the flame goes out entirely. And that is exactly what is happening to so many of my children right now. They are not walking away from me dramatically. They are simply getting dimmer. A little less prayer this week than last week. A little less time in my word this month than last month. A little less hunger for my presence this year than the year before. And they tell themselves it is fine. They tell themselves they are just busy. They tell themselves they will get back on track when life slows down a little. But my child, life never slows down. And every single day that you wait, the flame gets a little bit smaller. I am not telling you this to frighten you. I am telling you this because there is still time. The oil is still available. My presence is still here, pouring out freely, waiting for you to come and be filled. You do not have to earn your way back to me. You do not have to fix yourself up before you come. You can come exactly as you are right now, with all your dryness and all your emptiness and all your distance, and I will fill you back up. That is the kind of God I am. That is the kind of Father I have always been to you. I want you to understand something very important about the world you are living in right now. The world is cold. It is getting colder every single day. The darkness is spreading. The confusion is growing. The noise is getting louder. And in the middle of all of that noise and coldness and confusion, keeping the fire of my spirit alive inside you is not something that happens automatically. It requires intention. It requires daily effort. It requires you to make a deliberate choice every single morning to come back to me, to sit in my presence, to let me fill you up before you walk out into the cold world. A lamp that is full of oil burns brightly even in the darkest room. A soul that is full of my spirit shines powerfully even in the darkest circumstances. But you cannot be that lamp. You cannot be that light if you are running on empty. And that is exactly where so many of my beloved children find themselves right now. Running on empty, going through the motions, saying the right words but feeling nothing behind them, showing up to the right places but coming home just as hollow as when they left. My child, I want to ask you something. And I want you to really sit with the question rather than rushing past it. When did you last feel truly, deeply full of my presence? When did you last come into the secret place, the quiet place where it is just you and me, and stay there long enough to actually feel saturated with my peace? Not a quick prayer before a meal, not a song you have listened to on the way to work. I mean truly coming to me, opening your heart all the way and letting me pour into you until every dry and empty place was overflowing again. If you have to think hard to remember the last time that happened, then you already know what I am about to say to you. Come back to me today, not tomorrow, not next week, not after this season of life settles down. Today, right now, even as you listen to these words, open your heart to me. Tell me you are dry. Tell me you are tired. Tell me you have been running on fumes and you do not know what to do. And I promise you, with the full weight of who I am, I will meet you there. I will pour fresh oil into your lamp. I will stir up the fire inside you until it is burning brighter than it has in years. That is my promise to you. But I also want to talk to you about something that goes hand in hand with running dry, and that is the word you have been leaning on far too heavily. A small, quiet, seemingly harmless word that has stolen more destinies than any enemy ever could. That word is later. You hear my voice, and you say later. You feel the pull of my spirit on your heart, and you say later. I will pray more later. I will forgive them later. I will get serious about my faith later. I will deal with that habit later. I will pursue that dream I planted in your heart later. My child, do you understand what later is doing to you? Every single time you say later to me, something happens inside you. A thin, almost invisible layer of hardness forms over your heart. You cannot see it, you cannot feel it, but it is there. And the next time I call to you, my voice sounds just a tiny bit quieter, and the time after that, even quieter still. And the world's voice, the voice of distraction and comfort and busyness, that voice gets just a little bit louder. And slowly, gradually, without you even noticing it happening, the distance between us grows. This is the great danger of later. It is not a dramatic walk away from God. It is a slow, comfortable drift. It is the soul that never makes a terrible, obvious choice. It just keeps making small, subtle choices to delay, to put it off, to handle this one thing first and then come back. But there is always one more thing. There is always a reason to wait just a little bit longer. And meanwhile, the windows of opportunity that I carefully and lovingly arrange for you, those specific moments in your life where everything is perfectly positioned for a breakthrough, those windows do not stay open forever. I have placed windows in your life, seasons of grace where my hand is moving powerfully in your direction, and the only thing required of you is to step through the open door. But if you are too busy waiting for the perfect moment, too comfortable in the waiting room of later, you will look up one day and find that the door has closed. And then you will spend years wondering why the breakthrough never came, never realizing that you were standing right in front of the open door the whole time. But you chose later over now. I do not want that for you. That is not the life I designed for you. I designed you for a life of bold, present moment obedience, not a life of endless preparation and perpetual delay. Faith is not a feeling of readiness. Faith is taking a step when your knees are shaking. Faith is walking through the door before you feel ready, before you have everything figured out, before the circumstances are perfect. Because they will never be perfect. And if you wait for perfect circumstances to obey me, you will wait your entire life. I want you to think about the areas in your life right now where you have been saying later. Maybe it is a relationship that needs healing, but you keep putting off having the hard conversation. Maybe it is a habit or a pattern that you know is pulling you away from me, but you keep telling yourself you will deal with it when you feel stronger. Maybe it is a dream, a calling, a purpose that I placed in your heart years ago, and you have buried it under layers of fear and procrastination and practical excuses. Whatever it is, I want you to name it right now. And I want you to make a decision in this moment to say now instead of later. You do not need to see the entire path laid out before you. You do not need to have every question answered or every fear resolved. You just need to take the first step. I will be there for the second one and the third and every step after that. I am not asking you to figure out the whole journey. I am asking you to start walking. And as you walk, I will light the path in front of you. That is how this works. That is how it has always worked. You move in obedience, and I move in power. You take the step, and I open the way. Now, my child, I want to shift the conversation and talk to you about something that is even more foundational than your daily habits or your spiritual disciplines. I want to talk to you about who you are, not who the world says you are, not who your mistakes say you are, not who your failures or your past or your fears say you are. I want to talk to you about who I say you are, because until you settle that question, nothing else in your life will ever fully make sense. You are suffering from an identity crisis. And I say that not to shame you, but to set you free. You have been looking for your value and your worth in all the wrong places. You look at your bank account to decide if you are successful. You look at how many people approve of you to decide if you are lovable. You look at your track record of failures and mistakes to decide if you are worthy of good things. And every single one of those mirrors is broken. Every single one of them is lying to you because none of them are mine. I am your creator. I made you. I designed every single thing about you with breathtaking intentionality. And I am the only one who has the authority to tell you who you are. Not your past, not your personality, not your performance, not the opinions of people who did not create you and do not define you. Me, only me. And here is what I say about you. You are my child. You are my masterpiece. You are the object of my deepest, most fierce, and most tender love. You are not a mistake. You are not an accident. You are not ordinary. You are not average. You are not forgotten or overlooked or unimportant. You are chosen. That means before you ever did a single thing to earn it, before you ever prayed a single prayer or lived a single good day, I chose you. I looked across all of time and all of eternity, and I chose you specifically to be mine. And nothing you have done since then has changed that. Not your worst day, not your most embarrassing moment, not the sin you are most ashamed of. None of it has the power to unchoose you. Because my love is not based on your performance. It is based on my nature, and my nature is love. You are redeemed. That means every single debt of your past has been paid in full. Every mistake, every failure, every moment of darkness, everything you did that you wish you could take back, it is covered. It is gone. When I look at you, I do not see the sum of your failures. I see my son, my daughter, washed clean and standing in my righteousness. That is not a small thing. That is everything. And you are mine. You belong to me, which means you have a father who is the king of everything. Which means when you walk into a room, you walk in as royalty. Which means no weapon formed against you can prosper. Which means the enemy has no ultimate power over your life. Which means you are never, ever alone. This is who you are. And I need you to start believing it, because until you do, you will keep living below the level of everything I have prepared for you. If you have been encouraged by what you are hearing today, would you consider subscribing if you have not already, and sharing this video with someone who needs to hear it? Your simple act of sharing could be the thing that pulls someone back from the edge of giving up. You never know whose dry and empty lamp gets refilled because you decided to pass this message along. Now let us keep going, because there is so much more I want to say to your heart today. My dear child, I want to talk to you about the foundation your life is built on, because the storms are coming. They are already coming for many of you, and when a storm hits, the only thing that matters is what is underneath. A beautiful house on a sand foundation looks exactly the same as a beautiful house on a rock foundation right up until the moment the storm arrives, and then everything is revealed. So, let me ask you honestly, what is your life built on? What is the thing you are trusting in to hold you steady when everything around you starts shaking? For many of you, and I say this with a heart full of love and zero judgment, you have been building on the sand of your own strength, your own intelligence, your own goodness, your own plans and strategies and efforts. And it has worked, at least a little, during the calm seasons. But the moment a real storm comes, you feel it. The ground shifts, the walls crack, the anxiety floods in, and you wonder why, when you have been trying so hard, everything still feels so unstable. Here's the truth. No matter how hard you try, you cannot build a life that is truly unshakable on the foundation of yourself. You are not enough to be your own foundation. Not because you are bad or weak or not trying hard enough, but because you were never designed to be the foundation. You were designed to be built upon a foundation that is bigger than you, and that foundation is my grace. Grace is one of those words that gets used so often that people stop really hearing it. They think it means forgiveness for sins, and it does mean that, but it means so much more. My grace is the living, active, supernatural power that holds you up when you have nothing left. It is the force that opens doors you never could have opened yourself. It is the strength that carries you through seasons that would have broken anyone else. It is the undeserved, unearned, unstoppable love that flows toward you, not because of what you do, but because of who I am. And here is the beautiful thing about building your life on my grace. When the storm comes, and it will come, you do not have to be afraid, because the rock holds. The rock has always held. No storm in all of history has ever been able to move the rock. And if your life is built on the rock, then the storm can howl, and the rain can pour, and the floods can rise, and you will still be standing when it is all over. Not because you are so strong, but because what you are standing on is unbreakable. But I see so many of my children trying to build a life of goodness and effort and religious performance, thinking that if they just do enough right things, they can make themselves secure. And every time they fail, as all humans do, as all humans must, they feel the sand of self-righteousness, the sand of trying to earn what I have already freely given. Stop trying to earn my grace. You cannot. It is a gift. It has already been given. Your job is simply to receive it with open hands and then build your life on the reality of it. Trust that I am good. Trust that my plans for you are good. Trust that even when you stumble, even when you fall, the foundation does not crack, because the foundation is not your goodness. It is mine. Now I want to speak to you about something that I see in so many hearts that I love, and it is something that has to be named plainly and honestly. I see lukewarmness. I see a generation of people who know the right words and show up in the right places and have the right beliefs on paper, but whose hearts are perfectly, comfortably, dangerously room temperature. Not hot, not cold, just lukewarm, just fine. And lukewarm is the most deceptive place to be because it feels okay. You are doing enough to keep your conscience quiet, but not so much that it costs you anything or changes anything or demands anything of you. You have found the comfortable middle ground where faith is a part of your life without being the center of your life. But my child, I did not call you to the comfortable middle. I called you to the blazing fire. I called you to a life where your love for me is so real and so alive that it literally changes everything about how you live. I called you to the kind of faith that your coworkers notice and your family feels and your neighbors wonder about. The kind of faith that is so unmistakably genuine that people are drawn to it because they can tell the difference between the real thing and performance. I did not call you to perform. I called you to burn. Do you remember the first time you really understood how much I loved you? Do you remember the feeling that came with that understanding, that warmth, that aliveness, that sense of being seen and known and loved all the way through? That was real. That was not a feeling you manufactured. That was my spirit meeting yours. And I want to ask you, where did it go? What happened to that fire? It got choked out, not by one big terrible thing. It got choked out by the slow accumulation of small choices. A little bit less time in my presence this week, a little bit more entertainment, a little bit more distraction, a little bit more comfort, a compromise here, a delay there, and slowly, almost invisibly, the fire got smaller. And what was left was a lamp that looks fine from the outside, but has almost no flame. I am calling you today to repent of your lukewarmness. Not with shame, with hope, because repentance is not about wallowing in what you have done wrong. Repentance is about turning around and walking in a new direction. It is about saying, I have been settling for lukewarm, and I do not want that anymore. I want the fire back. I want to burn again. And the moment you say that with a sincere heart, I am right there, ready to ignite you. Give me your whole heart, not a portion of it, not the Sunday morning portion, not the portion that is left over after everything and everyone else has had their share. All of it. Every room, every hidden corner, every locked door you have been afraid to open. Give me access to all of it, and I will fill all of it with my fire. And when you are full of my fire, you will not have to try to be a light in the world. You will simply be one. The light will come out of you naturally, the way heat comes out of a flame, because that is what happens when something is truly burning. My child, I want to talk to you about something that very few people want to sit with, but something that is absolutely essential if you are going to walk into the fullness of everything I have for you. I want to talk to you about discernment. The ability to see clearly, the ability to look at a situation or a message or a direction and know in the deep place of your spirit whether it is from me or whether it is not. We are living in a time when discernment is not a bonus skill. It is a survival skill. The world around you is shifting faster than at any other point in human history. New voices, new philosophies, new ways of seeing truth are coming at you from every direction every single day. And many of them are sophisticated and compelling and wrapped in language that sounds reasonable and even beautiful. But not everything that sounds beautiful is from me. The enemy of your soul is not stupid. He does not show up looking evil. He shows up sounding wise. He shows up wearing the clothes of progress and enlightenment and modernity. And if you do not have your spiritual senses trained and sharp, you will not be able to tell the difference between his voice and mine. This is why you need discernment more than you need almost anything else right now. And discernment does not come from reading more articles, or watching more news, or having more information. Discernment comes from intimacy with me. When you spend enough time in my presence, when you saturate yourself in my word, when you tune your ear to my voice, you begin to develop a spiritual sensitivity that tells you deep in your gut when something is not right, even if you cannot explain exactly why. Even if the thing looks good on the surface, something in your spirit will know. I am calling you to be a watchman, not a worrier. There is a huge difference. A worrier looks at the darkness and is consumed by fear. A watchman looks at the darkness and is empowered by clarity. A watchman knows what to pray. A watchman knows what to stand against. A watchman knows when to sound the alarm and when to be still. And a watchman gets that knowledge not from the headlines, but from hours spent in my presence, learning to see through my eyes. Stop letting the noise of the world be the primary shaper of your perspective. Every time you spend more hours consuming the world's narrative than you spend in my word, you are training your eyes to see through a distorted lens. And then you wonder why everything looks confusing and hopeless. It is not hopeless. But you will never see the hope through the lens of the world. You will only see it through mine. Develop your discernment, my child. Make it a priority. Come into my presence and ask me to show you things through my eyes. Ask me to give you clarity about the times you are living in. Ask me to help you distinguish between what is truly from me and what is a clever imitation. I will answer that prayer. I always answer that prayer because I want you to see clearly, even more than you want to. I need you to see clearly, because what is coming requires clear eyes and a steady heart. Now, let us talk about the weapon that makes all of this possible. My word, the Bible. That book that sits on your shelf or your phone or your nightstand. The one you have read pieces of and mean to read more of, and feel a little guilty about not reading enough of. My child, that book is not a religious obligation. It is not a spiritual checklist item. It is alive. It is literally the most powerful thing in the universe put into words that you can hold in your hands and speak with your mouth and plant in your heart. My word is not just information. It is transformation. When you read it, something happens in your spirit that you cannot make happen any other way. Your mind begins to shift. The way you see yourself begins to change. The way you see your circumstances begins to change. The way you see other people begins to change. The lies that the enemy has been feeding you start to sound hollow and unconvincing, because now you have the truth living inside you that exposes every lie for what it is. I am not asking you to become a Bible scholar. I am asking you to make my word your daily food. Just as your body weakens without food, your spirit becomes vulnerable and open to attacks that would slide right off you if you were full and nourished. Hide my word in your heart. That means reading it deeply enough and often enough that it becomes part of you, that it rises up naturally in your mind when you face a hard situation, that when the enemy comes with a lie, the truth is already there, waiting to push it out. This is the sword of the Spirit. This is your offensive weapon. And a warrior who does not know how to use their weapon is a warrior who is going to get hurt. My child, I want to now speak very tenderly to your heart about something that I think is one of the most beautiful and most neglected parts of your relationship with me. I want to talk about the secret place, the quiet place, the closed-door place, where it is just you and me, and the world has no access. There are things I want to say to you that I can only say in the quiet. There are revelations I want to give you that I can only give to the one who lingers. There are secrets of my heart, strategies for your life, answers to the questions that have kept you up at night, that I am holding out to you in the secret place. But I cannot give them to you on the run. I cannot pour them out over you in between your next two tasks. I need you to stop, to sit down, to shut the door, to turn off the noise, and to wait for me. I know that feels unproductive to you. I know that in a world that rewards constant output and visible activity, sitting quietly and simply being with me feels unproductive. But I tell you the truth, you are never more powerful than when you are in my presence. You are never more effective than when you are drawing from my strength. And the person who spends an hour with me before they face the world will accomplish more with my grace than the person who spends 3 hours working in their own strength. Your public life, your relationships, your work, your calling, all of it is fueled by your private life with me. Ministry without intimacy is empty. It might roll for a little while on momentum, but eventually it will stop, and then no amount of pushing will make it go. You need the engine, and the engine is the fire you get from being in my presence. Come to the secret place, my child, not because I'm demanding it, but because this is where the treasure is. This is where I heal the things that are broken in you. This is where I restore the parts of you that the world has worn down. This is where I remind you of who you are and what you are here for. When the voices of the world have convinced you that you are small and insignificant and ordinary, you are none of those things. But you will forget that if you stop coming to sit with me. Let me tell you what happens in the secret place. I speak peace into the storms inside you. I give wisdom for the decisions that have been keeping you up at night. I pour strength into the places where you feel weak and depleted. I show you things about yourself, beautiful things, things you could not see through the fog of your own insecurity. I tell you about your future, not in a way that overwhelms you, but in a way that gives you hope and direction. I love you there in a way that is so real and so personal that it changes you from the inside out. This is the invitation. Come sit, stay long enough to feel something. Stay long enough for the noise in your head to quiet down and my voice to become clear. You will leave that place different from how you entered it. I promise you that. Now, my child, let us talk about something that might be the most important practical truth I can give you today. We are in a battle, a real one, not the kind you can see with your physical eyes. The kind that happens in the invisible realm, the realm of spirit, the realm that is just as real as the world you can see and touch, but that most people are almost completely unaware of. And because most people are unaware of it, they walk through their lives as if the battle is not happening. They wonder why they keep facing the same struggles year after year. They wonder why certain patterns never seem to break. They wonder why the anxiety comes back even after they have dealt with it 100 times. And the answer in many cases is that they are in a war and they are not dressed for it. I have given you armor, complete, powerful, sufficient armor for every battle you will ever face. But you have to put it on every single day. It does not automatically appear on you when you wake up in the morning. You have to make a conscious decision to put it on, to pick up the truth and strap it around your waist, because truth is what keeps everything else in place. To put on righteousness over your heart, because your heart is the thing the enemy most wants to wound. To lace up the shoes of peace, because a grounded soul cannot be knocked off balance. To hold up the shield of faith, because faith is what stops the lies and the fears and the accusations from landing in your heart. To put on the helmet of salvation to guard your mind, because the mind is the primary battlefield, and to pick up the sword of my word, because you cannot fight back with your feelings or your opinions. You fight back with what I have said. Put on your armor every morning, my child. Make it part of your morning routine, as automatic as getting dressed, because spiritually speaking, walking out into the world without your armor on is exactly that. And the enemy will take advantage of every gap in your protection. And then I want you to do something that many people forget entirely. I want you to fight, not cowering in the corner hoping the battle passes you by, not just trying to survive the attack, fighting, using the word of God as the sword it is, speaking truth out loud over the lies the enemy whispers to you, declaring what I have said over your life when your circumstances seem to contradict it, standing firm when everything in you wants to run. You were not made to be a victim of the enemy's schemes. You were made to be a conqueror, and a conqueror does not wait to see if the battle will end. A conqueror walks forward in confidence, knowing that the victory has already been secured. I want to speak to you now about one of the most powerful and most neglected callings on your life, the calling to holiness. And before you shut down at that word, let me tell you what holiness actually means, because most people think it means being religious and boring and joyless and uptight. It does not mean any of those things. Holiness simply means being set apart, being distinct, being someone who carries something different because they belong to someone different. When you live a holy life, you are not less alive. You are more alive than the people around you, because you are no longer a slave to the things that enslave everyone else. You are no longer driven by the need for approval, or the pull of temporary pleasures, or the fear of missing out. You are free, genuinely, deeply, beautifully free. Free to be exactly who I made you to be, without the weight of compromise pulling you down. Holiness is not about following a list of rules. It is about falling so deeply in love with me that the things that pull you away from me lose their appeal. It is about being so full of my presence that there simply is not room for the things that once controlled you. It is a fruit of intimacy, not a product of willpower. And when you live that way, people notice. They do not always know what it is that they are noticing. They just know that you are different, that there is something about you that they cannot explain and cannot manufacture. And that difference, that distinction, that visible evidence of my presence in your life, that is your greatest witness. Not your arguments, not your theology, not your ability to win debates, but the undeniable reality of a changed life. Be holy, my child, not to impress people, not to feel superior, but because you belong to me and I am holy, and my children carry my nature. Let my holiness shine through you and illuminate every room you walk into. Now, I need to speak to your heart about something that I know some of you have been holding on to for a very long time, something that is quietly destroying you from the inside, even though from the outside you look completely fine. I am talking about unforgiveness. You know exactly who I am talking about when I say this. There is a name, or maybe more than one name, that appeared in your mind the moment I said that word. A person who hurt you, a person who betrayed you, a person who walked away when you needed them, a person who said something or did something that left a wound so deep you are not even sure it can be healed. And you have been carrying that wound and that anger and that bitterness for months or maybe years. And you have told yourself that holding on to it is justified, that they do not deserve your forgiveness, that letting go would mean pretending what they did was okay. But my child, I need you to hear me on this. Unforgiveness is not punishing them. It is punishing you. Every single day that you hold on to that bitterness, you are the one who pays the price. It poisons your peace. It clouds your joy. It creates a wall between us. Forgiving someone does not mean pretending they did not hurt you. It does not mean the relationship has to be restored or that they deserve another chance. It does not mean they were right. It means you are making the choice to release the debt, to stop making them pay for what they did by robbing yourself of peace. It means you are handing the situation over to me, the righteous judge, and trusting me to handle the justice while you walk free. I know you may not feel ready to forgive. I know it may feel impossible right now, and that is okay. You do not have to manufacture the feeling first. You just have to make the choice. You just have to say, Lord, I do not feel. And in that moment of choosing, I will begin to do in your heart what you could never do on your own. I will begin to replace the bitterness with my peace. Slowly, tenderly, powerfully, choose to forgive today, not for their sake, for yours. Because you are my child, and you were made to live in freedom, not in a prison of resentment that you are holding the key to. My child, I want to talk to you now about your past. I know you carry it with you. I know there are things behind you that you would give almost anything to change. Decisions you made that you regret deeply. Words you said that you wish you could take back. Time that passed in ways that feel wasted and irredeemable. Things that were done to you that left marks so deep you wonder if you will ever fully be free of them. I want you to bring me all of it. Not the sanitized, cleaned up version. All of it. The real, raw, ugly, messy truth of everything that has happened and everything you have done. Because I am the only one who can do anything truly transformative with the wreckage of a human life. And what I do with wreckage is breathtaking. I take ashes and I give beauty. That is not a metaphor. That is my actual nature. I am a God who specializes in taking things that look finished, that look beyond repair, and the answer is always the same. Only God could do that. Your past is not a tomb. In my hands, it is a testimony. Your greatest failure is not the final chapter of your story. It is the turning point of it, the moment where everything that came before is redeemed, and everything that comes after is evidence of my power to restore. The enemy wants you to believe that your mistakes disqualify you. He wants you to stay locked in regret and shame, convinced that you have used up your chances and there is nothing good left for you. He is lying. There is no such thing as too far gone in my kingdom. There is no such thing as too many mistakes, too much time wasted, too deep a wound. I am the God who makes all things new, all things, and that includes you. Exactly as you are right now, with everything behind you and everything that feels broken and lost, I am able to make something new and beautiful and powerful. hand me your ashes. Open your hands and let go of the wreckage of your past. Stop trying to fix it yourself. Stop carrying it alone. Give it to me and watch what I do with it. I am not finished with you, not even close. In fact, I would say to you that, in many ways, your story is just now getting to the part that matters most. And I need you present for it, not buried under the weight of everything that came before. Put on the garment of praise, my child, even now, even over the things that still hurt, even over the things that have not yet been resolved. Praise is not pretending everything is fine. Praise is declaring that I am still good, even when things are not. And when you do that, when you make the choice to thank me and trust me even in the middle of the mess, something shifts in the spiritual atmosphere around you. The heaviness begins to lift. The clarity begins to return, and the transformation begins in earnest. My child, I want to close by looking forward with you, because as important as everything I have said about your present and your past is, there is a horizon ahead of you that changes everything. There is a future, an eternal one, that makes every struggle and every sacrifice and every moment of difficulty on this earth look small in comparison, and I need you to live with that horizon in your eyes. This world is not your home. I know it feels. I know the pleasures and the comforts and the relationships and the experiences of this life feel very real and very significant, and they are. I made them. I gave them to you, but they are temporary. They are all temporary. And when this chapter ends, whether that is today or decades from now, what comes next is so vast and so beautiful and so far beyond what your human mind can currently imagine that if you could see it for even 1 second, every single sacrifice you have ever made for my kingdom would instantly feel completely and absolutely worth it. I have prepared a place for you, a real place, not a metaphor, a home that is more real than anything you have ever experienced on this earth, a place where pain does not exist, where death does not exist, where separation and loneliness and fear and confusion and grief do not exist, a place where you will see me face to face, not through faith or through a mirror dimly, but face to face, fully and completely known and loved and at home. That is what is waiting for you. Live for that, my child. Let the reality of that future change how you live right now. Let it make you bolder, because what is the worst the world can do to you when you know what is coming? Let it make you more generous, because you know your real treasure is not here anyway. Let it make you more patient with people, because you know every person you encounter is an eternal soul who is going to live somewhere forever. Let it make you more willing to suffer well, knowing that the suffering of this present time is not even in the same category as the glory that is waiting. Fix your eyes on what is ahead, and with that vision burning in your heart, walk forward. Walk forward in faith, walk forward in love, walk forward in the fullness of who I made you to be. Walk forward knowing that the King of everything is with you, in you, for you, and waiting for you at the finish line with open arms. You are loved, my child, more than you can fathom, more than you will fully understand. Until that day when you finally see me face to face and it all makes sense, until then, I am here. Every moment, every step, every breath, I am here, and I am enough. And together, there is nothing we cannot face. Now go live differently. The world is waiting for what only you can give it. A life on fire, a heart that has been changed, a soul that knows its Father. Go and be the light you were made to be. And know that I am with you every single step of the way, now and forever.